Friday, October the 3rd, 2003. Welcome back to the second hour of Wake Up Call.
It used to be companies wanted to know the consumer's age, sex, marital status. Well, that data, it turns out, is old school. Today's marketing mavens are trying to become mind readers.
Yeah, this selling to the psyche actually has a name. It's called psychographics. And believe it or not, this new approach to marketing, if used correctly, can translate into some pretty big bucks for companies. Here now to explain this marketing strategy is Jeff Swystun, Global Director of the brand strategy and designing firm Interbrand, which uses the psychographic strategy. He joins us from Toronto for some psychoanalysis this morning. Hi, Mr. Swystun. How are you?
Good. Good morning to you both. I won't put you on the couch this morning, but...
Okay, good deal. Good. And hopefully this will be free of charge.
That's right.
So we're talking about getting into the head of the consumer. What is selling to the psyche, and how powerful can it be compared with the practices, say, in the past?
Well, you know, what's interesting about this is, you know, companies, their sole purpose is to sell more stuff more often to more people at a higher price forever and ever. Amen. That's kind of the mantra we live by. And historically, we've used demographics in marketing to get to people, but, you know, knowing that someone lives within a certain zip code, that they have a minivan and 2.2 children, that's just not good enough anymore. So psychographics is an approach that's been around for about 30 years, but has really honed itself in the last 5 or 10. And it's really trying to marry up the values, the beliefs, the activities and interests of the target audience with specific offerings. So companies make a huge investment in launching a product. They want to make sure it gets into the right people's hands right away to create that loyalty.
Jeff, you look exactly like an ad exec is supposed to look. You know, for our radio listeners.
Right out of Central Cast?
Well, I've got glasses with the dark frame and the great hair. You know,
well, for the radio listeners, I've got a great face for radio. So.
No.
Hey, you're supposed to be selling this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sell this issue.
All right, here we go.
You do conduct the traditional polling, but let me get this straight. Does the traditional demographics of 25 to 49 really matter anymore?
Not as much. You know, I think that's good on large-scale awareness stuff when you get into, you know, national TV or national print. But when you really want to get down and segment the market, you got to go further than that. So some of the companies that we see doing this are, you know, are the more sophisticated consumer product companies or financial services that really want to understand the buying behavior of their specific audiences. So they want to marry up opportunity right away. So they use very sophisticated techniques, either through large-scale data collection or even just those old techniques like focus groups, because the best way to learn about someone is through dialogue. So what we see is we want to get close to consumers as to how they operate in the actual purchase decision.
Can you give us an example? I mean, I know that you've talked extensively in your past about Crest and Colgate. Can you just kind of map it out for our viewers how you would handle that type of situation?
Well, yeah, interestingly enough, if you go into your supermarket shelves or pharmacy shelves now, it's not just, you know, one type of toothpaste and one toothbrush. There's been a huge proliferation in that specific dental hygiene category over the last 5 years. And that's because I think those companies have registered the fact that sometimes they get ahead of the market as well. They know what is best for the consumer in some parts, and in other words, in other ways, the consumer's telling them what they want. But, you know, would you have guessed 5 years ago that you could have picked from, you know, 10 different toothpaste, 10 different toothbrushes, and all the whitening products? So this is something that's very interesting. It marries up the research with product development, and therefore the investment dollar on behalf of the company is best utilized.
Jeff, what's the cost factor here for these guys? Is it more expensive, and ultimately, is it worth it?
Absolutely. You know, I'm going to have to answer that as a yes and no. No, it's not more expensive because I think companies are just doing this stuff inherently now. They know that customer data is key to long-term business success and building loyalty with their segments. Yes, it can be more expensive in the short term because it's not an exact science. No market research tool really is, and if it is, then it's not really giving you the data you want. So there is huge payback, and there's the old thing that everyone will learn in biz school, that it's, you know, 7 times more expensive to gain a new client than it is to have an existing one. So this type of psychographics and in-depth market research makes sure that the investment pays off long term.
All right, Jeff, thanks for the shrinkage this morning.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. You're both of sound mental health, I can tell.
That's what I need on a Friday morning, a clean bill of health before I ruin it over the weekend.
Have a great weekend.
All right,
Thank
Jeff
you.
Swystun, Global Director of Interbrand. Fascinating concepts.